Hello, self-care connoisseurs. I'm here to share with you another way that you can relieve and release another part of your body. It's an area that gets overused and abused and forgotten, our poor feet. So I'm going to show you just a couple of ways you can soften up that tissue, warm it up, and do a few little stretches, and hopefully your feet will feel much better. There's one thing I would like you to do if you choose to do all these little exercises. I want you to just do one foot. Do everything on one foot. And then I'm going to have you walk a few steps. I usually like to use like a yoga mat and start at the bottom and walk to the top and walk back, just so that you can see the difference of just how a little bit of self-care can go a long way. And if you're watching some of my other videos, you could do the same, like just do all the things on your left side and then kind of move around and just see the difference that it feels from the other side. Just to prove to yourself that these things really do work and they really do matter. And then, like some of the other videos at the end, if you're interested, I will share with you emotionally what can be held in your feet. I know it's weird, but it's true. So if you're curious again and want to know if you're having an issue with one or both of your feet, I can share with you that emotional tie-in, and then you can see if it applies to you or not. It could just be that physically you are wearing your little feet out. So either way, you'll leave this video with some tools, hopefully, and feeling better. Okay, here we go. So what I always like to do if I'm gonna focus on an area is warm the tissue up to the best of my ability. So what we're gonna do is, in this section, we're gonna just focus on the top part of your foot. And so using your thumbs, kind of come up to this ankle area. And I want you to, again, strip all the way down to where you're going between your big toe and your second toe. And as you're doing that, I want you to point. So point. And you can do that, let's just say 10 times. I'm not gonna do 10 now. And then follow down the next line. So we're going down these little things called your metatarsals. And starting up at that ankle again and moving down in between the second toe and the third toe. And then again, and you're gonna feel it's tight. Mine's tight. And just go up and down like that and work your way all the way to the little pinky toe. Then you're just gonna knead and just kind of move that whole foot around to the best of your ability. Good job. Next, staying with that same foot that you just released on the top part of your foot, now we're going to release the bottom part using this little nifty ball. I'd like you to do this for about a minute. And basically, you're just gonna roll your entire foot out. You can use as much pressure or as little pressure as you want. And you're just gonna work your way all the way up, even in the toes, and kind of get your toes wrapped around that whole entire ball. And if you find a spot that kind of hurts, you can just stay there for a minute. But again, do that for a full minute before you move on. Great. And finally, the last two movements that you're gonna do is just, the first is just some rotations. So I want you to really exaggerate your circles and go to the left 10 times and then reverse it 10 times. And then after you've done that, then do the pointing extending and flexing, extending and flexing. And do 10 of those. So after you've done the warming up of the tissue, using the ball, rotations and extensions, now I want you to get to the bottom of your yoga mat and walk up and down, and you tell me, does that foot feel different than the other one? And then be so kind to yourself and go back and do everything on the other foot and just see how it feels. So I'd like to end the video with emotions that can get trapped or stored in your feet. And again, just remember, you could be having issues with your feet because of a physical issue, but if that is not the root of your problem, then you can move on into the emotional and mental pieces and just evaluate and ask yourself, do these things apply to me? And if they do, then how can I move them through this space? So here is what feet hold. The sense of not liking the direction you're going. You have a fear of the future. A lot of us can tend to have that these days. Or stepping forward into life. So it's a lot of movement and moving forward, which makes sense with your feet because they're the ones that take you there. So when I hear all those words, I kind of think of the word stuck. So if you're feeling that emotion where you literally are feeling stuck and possibly having some issues with your feet, maybe these are some things that you can work through. So the opposites of stuck and fear of moving forward and so on and so forth, the opposite would be that you are aware and that you're flowing through life and that you are moving forward. You are moving forward through your days. So again, as you're doing some of the stretches, as you're stretching and breathing and doing that, you can be speaking some of these things over yourself. Final thoughts with your feet from another resource says that it can represent our understanding of ourselves and our life and of others. And so you could just speak over yourself. My understanding is clear. I can change with the times and I am safe. So there you go. Maybe you can speak some of those things over yourself and over your feet as you love on them today because they need it. They get so abused and forgotten. So I hope that you've enjoyed this and I hope it helps you and I hope you have a fantastic day moving forward.